Put yourself in a police officer's shoes for a moment. Imagine making a routine traffic stop and realizing you've pulled over a felon with an outstanding warrant for his arrest. Or maybe you're responding to a 911 call and you don't know what's waiting for you on the other side of a closed door. Sounds stressful, doesn't it? Anything can happen in situations like these, and your adrenaline and split-second decision-making can sometimes be the difference between going home in one piece and not going home at all. This is the unfortunate reality of being a police officer. When others are at their worst, our law enforcement officers have to be at their best. But how do you train for the unthinkable? Here in O'Fallon, you do it by entering our new state-of-the-art VirTra 300 training system, a virtual reality experience unlike anything our officers have seen before.
The training system puts you in as close to real-life scenarios as you're going to get without actually doing them.
We can put officers in situations in which we just simply can't do in real life and give them the same level of training.
It opens up around them, you add all the sounds, you add their weapons. It's really close as they can get without actually being out on the real life call.
Here's how VirTra works. 5 projector screens surround the officers with 300 degrees of immersive scenery, allowing officers to train for the most difficult real-world encounters they might face, like active shooters or hostage situations. Currently, VirTra offers 175 unique scenarios, and the library is ever growing. And these scenarios are incredibly convincing.
Your adrenaline goes up, your level of awareness goes up.
Your body starts sweating, your hands get sweaty. It's just like you would on the streets.
There's different scenarios at different times and they change. So you can come into one scenario and it'd be one way, and then the next time the same scenario plays, it's different.
You have a situation where you could be engaging in a hostile target here, but just in real life, there could be more targets. So after engaging this one, it is fundamental and paramount that the officer check his surroundings and make sure that there's no more threats, you know?
And it really makes you evaluate what is going on and being able to make the split-second decisions.
The unparalleled level of realism extends to the situations themselves, which include branching story paths and complications controlled by an operator.
The instructor sees what's going on, he can change the environment, he can change what's going to go on, he can change the dialogue. If they come in here and they're not giving loud verbal commands or not necessarily doing what we want them to do, we can make the scenario go any way. We can make it very good for them or very bad for them. If an officer is going to make a mistake, I'd rather have him make a mistake in the simulator room where we can correct it than make a mistake out on the streets, because a mistake on the street can cost them their lives.
Even the weapons themselves are realistic, ensuring that our officers are training with the equipment they carry on a daily basis.
We are able to use our weapon systems that we use here at the O'Fallon Police Department. For instance, the officers on the street carry a SIG 229. This is the weapon that they use on the street. So when they come in the simulator, they are firing this weapon. What we do is we put an air kit inside the weapon so it has recoil. So we fill the magazine. This is the SIG magazine. We fill this magazine with air so they get recoil when they actually fire the weapon. So it makes it as realistic as possible.
Besides the pistol, VirTra supports our patrol rifles, tasers, and even our pepper spray. And if officers aren't aware of their surroundings, the computer operator can activate a small device called a threat fire that delivers a shock to simulate an injury to the trainee, adding stress and realism to the scenario.
And what we want from this is we want them to fight through it. We want them to fight through it, not freak out, go down, because it isn't very long. And so far, our responses from this is just that. The police officers are fighting through it. So that makes it realistic, because the bottom line is every day we go out on the streets, it's a possibility we could get shot.
Let's see a scenario in action. Officers are dispatched to a group of kids playing war games. The dispatch also notes that they may have been drinking. When the officers pull up, the kids turn around, and it's up to the officers to realize they're holding orange-tipped airsoft weapons. If the officers use good verbal skills, they can de-escalate the scene. If they don't, they can be surprised, just like in real life.
the operator of the computer is able to change the scenario. So he can make these kids cooperate, he can make them not cooperate. So then it ends with one juvenile in particular. He comes out. He has an airsoft gun in his possession, but if the officer's observant, he can also tell that he has a normal firearm in his pocket. Depending on whether the officer's giving good commands or not, he can make the subject comply, much like he's doing here. Otherwise, if the officer's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, he's giving bad commands, he's not asking the right questions, the operator can make him become hostile, in which he takes that firearm that's in his pocket and points it at the officer and starts shooting.
The VirTra training system has already proven to be an invaluable tool for our officers.
Hey Dave, drop the bottle. Taser, taser, taser!
The operator can observe everything the officers are doing in real time, allowing instant correction of mistakes or feedback on better ways to de-escalate bad situations. And it'll grow even more indispensable as we take advantage of another powerful tool to further personalize these scenarios.
One of the other things that's really unique about this system is a version that we call called VirTra. Now what VirTra is that we are able to go out, take a panoramic photo of our schools, our churches, our businesses, come back with that panoramic photo, put it up on the screens, and then edit and do the things we need to do. And instantly, the officers are training inside of our Fort Zumwalt North High School, the Crossings Church, MasterCard, City Court, without even going to the business and/or school.
No officer wants to find themselves in the situations presented by the VirTra training system, but it's good to know our officers now have a true-to-life way to practice these critical skills.
That's the beauty behind this. We can call them in, they can run through the scenario, and then when they leave, they feel a little bit better about maybe going on that next call out on the street.
It's a very beneficial tool, and it's a tool that I hope one day every agency in the United States has access to.
Every officer in the country is being done a vast disservice by not getting this training.
Our plan and our intent is to, once we get up and rolling, is to share it with other agencies because it is expensive. But however, you can't put a price on a police officer's life. You just can't.